Annyeonghaseyo friends, and welcome back to the Torsie channel for more IU, and a very happy Friday day to you. I feel like there is a very long time between Friday and Friday. Technically it's 7 days, but it feels like longer, especially when you're waiting to listen to more of the Modern Times album, which is exactly what we're doing today. We are finishing off Modern Times, and then next week we are going to do the 3 extra songs that are on Modern Times epilogue. So for today, we have Gloomy Clock, Daydream and Wait, and we have the world's greatest timing as well, because it is Jonghyun's birthday today, and Jonghyun of course wrote and performed Gloomy Clock with IU. So very happy birthday to Jonghyun. I'm looking forward to listening to that. He was such a talented musician and songwriter. Over on Patreon today, we have a bit of IU Homebody Signal. We are going to be watching her conversation with her lyricist mentor, Kim Ae-na. We love a bit of Homebody Signal. There's also all sorts of IU TV over there. And most importantly, my mister. We watched episode 8 yesterday. Everything's getting super messy. I'm living for the drama, but also mainly spending a lot of time crying. We're going to kick off today with a teaser. It is the teaser for Wait, the song that makes you wait. Love these teasers. So let's get into it. Catcha. Ooh, it's nighttime now. Wow. These freaking teasers are so dramatic. They're so dramatic. And I really, really love them. I feel like all of them should be expanded upon. Absolutely all of them. After, of course, we've finished listening to the album, we're going to start watching performances and music videos and stuff. And now I'm intrigued of whether the teasers have anything to do with what we then see in the music videos or performances, or whether it's just there to entice you, to pull you in. Let's get into Gloomy Clock. It is a beautiful sounding song, and now we're going to find out what it means.
한약을 달여 마신 그 씁쓸
got thrown part the way through that because at first the beat is the clock tick. I'm going to have to listen to it again to see if my mind has just cracked a little bit or whether this actually happened. But I was swaying with the beat, which was the clock ticking as well. Everything was happening on the beat. And then partway through the song, I suddenly noticed that the clock was on the offbeat. I was still swaying along to the beat. I don't think I had changed my pace. But the clock that had once been on the beat was suddenly on the offbeat. If that really did happen, the reason why I say if it really did happen, because I was immersed in it, so I don't know if there was a point where I stopped swaying and then started swaying again and started swaying on a different beat or what, or whether part of the storytelling is that there was a brief moment where the clock slipped out of time and then you find yourself in the feeling of it being wrong. And it's so subtle that you might not necessarily realize why everything feels off kilter. I'm not sure whether I'm mad or not. Oh no, we're going to have to revisit it because it's possible I'm insane, which could also be the point that maybe this did happen, and the feeling of doubting yourself and feeling a little bit insane of whether or not the clock really did start ticking on the offbeat part the way through the song is the emotion you feel when you're off kilter and depressed and bitter and life as you know it has changed and now you're having to live in a different way, and it's exhausting and unwelcome and it feels off, it feels wrong. What I like about that, and I don't know whose influence it is, but IU certainly does it a lot in her songs, is creating a soundscape, that there aren't just instruments in the song, there are other ambient noises, obviously the clock in this one, but then she says, why did I eat the ramen? And there's the sound of boiling water. And then there was another one, something was mentioned and then the sound of what it actually is happened. Just like in Jam Jam, at the end of Jam Jam, the song cuts off with the sound of a lid going back onto a sweets jar. It's like the top of a cookie jar or something sliding back into place is the final sound of Jam Jam. She includes things like laughter. There will be other ambient noises layering underneath the music that really rounds out what she's doing and creates the scene for you rather than just song and music. It's soundscape, it's atmospheric music. And I like that for a song that is kind of about awareness of how you're feeling and of the space around you, that part of the awareness is the little grainy white noises that happen around you, like boiling water and ticking clocks. It's really well put together. So many of my favorite SHINee songs were written by Jonghyun, and so many of the songs that I always end up saying, this has been written so well for their specific voices. This is so particular and specific to SHINee's voices and almost couldn't be done by anyone else. It's tailor-made for SHINee, and it's because Jonghyun understood people's voices and wrote so well for them. And of course, he and IU were friends, so naturally he would write something that suits her voice, her style, her sense of commentary that she always has, her observational skills, which we see so regularly in her music. She's a great observer of humanity and of human nature, and he's created for her a song that is both vocally and kind of spiritually correct for IU. Very specifically IU. I enjoyed that. Alrighty, Daydream, let's go.
그렇게 아픈 건 잊혀지지 않아 시간에 기대어봐만 한낮의 꿈을 꾸듯이 살랑 바람이 가만히 날 어루만져 눈물이 날려 같이 있으면 마음을 읽어주는 사람 그래줄 사람 어디 없나 비가 내리면 햇살을 대신하는 사람 늘 같은 사람 어디쯤 있나
행여나 그 사람 내 곁으로 오면 하루 다 나를 안아주면 그때 나 웃어나 볼까
나만 혼자란 생각만 안 들게 해줘 날 웃게 해줘 같이 있으면 마음을 읽어주는 사람 그래줄 사람 어디 없나 비가 내리면 햇살을 대신하는 사람 늘 같은 사람 어디쯤 있나 행여나 그 사람 내 곁으로 오면 하루 다 나를 안아주면 그때나 웃어나 볼까
졸리운 책은 덮어두고
한낮에 꿈을 꾸듯이
That made me feel a lot of things all at once. It's quite a different guitar to what we've had on most of the rest of the album. We've had, gypsy jazz, we've had jazz guitar, we've had sort of a little more flamenco style, but that was far closer to classical Spanish guitar, and for that reason had a much warmer tone, which complements the sense of a conversation that you're having between a more experienced person and a younger person, someone who's been through life and understands it, who's able to give words of wisdom warmly and with good intent. It's got such a nice back and forward, but oh my God, that close harmony. Oh, I live for a close harmony. I live for a close harmony. I really do. It's the same as knees. What close harmony triggers emotionally is the sense of your conscious voice and your unconscious voice speaking together. When harmony is a little bit further apart, it is more like the main tune and then being supported by harmony. But when it's close harmony like that, it's almost one voice. Your brain and your heart are talking as one, or your conscious thought and your subconscious thought are talking as one. It makes it, I think, a lot more emotional. And the way that those lyrics have been split, and then also with the close harmony, at first it does sound like the older woman giving the younger woman advice, but then the same lyrics that were sung by IU are then transferred to Yang Hyun. Then is she in her latter part of her life still waiting? Is this the same person, younger and older self, still waiting? It's like that famous painting, and now I'm going to completely forget what its name is. I saw it when I was very little. It's a 3-panel painting, and there's a landscape, and there's 3 tigers on this 3-panel painting, and up there and there and there. I remember being asked how many tigers are in this painting, and the answer is One, this painting is like a time lapse, essentially, where it's the tiger coming down from the mountain. So there is a possibility, given how closely they sang in the close harmony, that this isn't a conversation between two people. It is the same person in their younger and older self, especially with that transfer of the exact same lyrics. Is there just one tiger in this painting? That's what the close harmony is making me ask. I like, though, that twice on the same album now we have this back and forward between an older, more established singer who has the richness and depth and vibrato that comes with experience and age against the sweetness and youth of IU's voice. It's a lovely contrast, really lovely contrast. And again, I love so much that IU just wants to work with good musicians, whoever they are. She just works with whomever is the best and whoever will help her tell the story best. Good art is always made by people who are serving the story above themselves, above ego, always serving the story first. IU always does that. So for Wait, for some reason, the creator who we've been watching all this time didn't make a lyric video for Wait. Perhaps because there's so much of the song that has no lyrics. Maybe. So we're watching it from a different creator. Hopefully the lyrics will still stand up, but I guess we'll find out together. Let's go. We can all just hang out and enjoy the visuals for a moment, can't we? These were great photos. Love how long it takes to realize that shirt is actually see-through. I love that. Oh, I love that the guitar says IU on it. Look at all that hair. My kingdom don't have hair that nice. These photos, these are my favorite. Murder. So interesting that they chose quite a rock and roll-y sort of vibe. We'll get back to that thought in a second. I just realised that I misspoke before and said 3 songs from Epilogue will actually have Voicemail, which is the end of this album, and then the 2 songs from Epilogue that are different. Sorry, I misspoke before. It's a fascinating song to end on, a song about waiting for somebody to turn on you. And sure, there's Voicemail, which is the bonus track, but really the end of the album is Wait. You know, I don't know whether that's a comment on did she find modern times to be experimental and so was afraid people weren't going to respond to it? Is this a comment on simply being a celebrity and at any given time you're waiting for people to be sick of you? You know, Jennifer Lawrence recently did an interview where she said she took a break because she felt like she had to, not because she was actually tired or wanted to stop working, but she was afraid that if she didn't take a break, people would get sick of her. So at the height of her popularity, when she could have any amount of work that she wanted, she disappeared out of the limelight. And there is this expectation in Wait of, you're being nice to me now, but at what point does that turn? Especially with that very sort of like expectant music, that dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. You hear that a lot in ballroom music as either sort of the middle of the song as the dance break before something continues, or it is the last flourish before the song finishes. It is kind of that round off tune. Any kind of jazz music or dance music has cyclical chord progressions because it's meant to go around for you to dance to it. Jazz has a walking bass line, dance music will be cyclical in whatever way, and at some point you have to find a way to wrap up the song, otherwise the song will just go on forever. And they tend to wrap up with like a little phrase like that. So it's a song that expects an end, with lyrics that expect an end. Well, I look forward to the last 3 songs next week, and I'm gonna pop over to Patreon now and get into some Homebody Signal. I'm looking forward to that conversation. Thank you so much for joining me for more AU. 감사합니다 and 사랑해요, and I will see you soon for more. 안녕.